Welcome to the channel, everyone. Imagine holding a simple 5-cent coin in your hand, something most people would dismiss as ordinary pocket change. Yet little do they know that one very specific coin, the 1987 PUSA nickel, has managed to capture the attention of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters around the world because of its mysterious errors, rare variations, and unexplainable minting anomalies that have pushed its estimated face value in the collector's market to a staggering $19 million, making it one of the most unbelievable stories in numismatic history. And today we are going to take a deep dive into why this seemingly ordinary Jefferson nickel has become the stuff of legends, how its errors came to be, the types of mistakes that turn a coin into a million-dollar treasure, and the incredible possibilities that continue to make it so valuable and worth big money. Because when we talk about a coin that was mass-produced in the millions during 1987 at the Philadelphia Mint, people naturally wonder how a single piece managed to rise above the rest, but the answer lies in a mix of minting mistakes, die varieties, and the unpredictable quirks of coin production that have always fascinated collectors, with doubled dies, off-center strikes, planchet errors, and weak strikes playing some of the most significant roles in building up the mythos surrounding the 1987 P nickel. And experts say that among the surviving coins, there are pieces that show remarkable doubling on Jefferson's eye on the word liberty, or even on the reverse where Monticello's columns appear doubled, which instantly transforms a 5-cent coin into a collector's dream, while other error types include off-center strikes where part of the design is cut off and a blank area of metal appears on the coin, something that is immediately eye-catching and extremely desirable. But the 1987 P also comes with some rarer possibilities, such as struck-through errors, where grease or debris got in the way during the minting process, leaving certain letters or details either faint or completely missing, and this rarity adds a unique character that cannot be replicated. And when we discuss die cracks or cuds, collectors love them because they show the strain on the minting equipment, leaving raised lines or blobs of extra metal that distinguish these coins from the normal flawless versions. And then there are the truly elusive full-step Monticello nickels, where the steps at the base of the building appear in perfect clarity without wear or weak strikes, a detail that is notoriously difficult to find in nickels of this era. And when combined with a rare 1987 P error, the value multiplies beyond imagination, pushing estimates into the millions at auction. Now, what makes the 1987 P nickel even more fascinating is that it was not considered a special year by the U.S. Mint. Nothing unusual was expected. Yet hidden among ordinary circulation coins there are pieces that today can fetch life-changing sums of money. And history has shown us that collectors are willing to bid astronomical figures when two factors come together: rarity and condition, because condition is key, and those lucky enough to find a coin in mint state or proof-like quality with visible errors are essentially holding a jackpot. And we must remember that grading services like PCGS and NGC play a huge role in authenticating these treasures, ensuring that collectors know what they are paying for. And once graded, these coins become certified historical artifacts worth protecting. And every time a rare 1987 P nickel crosses an auction block, the bidding wars erupt, with dealers, investors, and private collectors all vying for a chance to own a piece of numismatic history. And while not every 1987 P nickel will be worth millions, the dream that one of them could be the next record-breaking discovery keeps collectors constantly checking their change, scouring coin rolls, and even purchasing bulk lots of nickels in the hopes of spotting that one extraordinary piece. And the beauty of coin collecting is that such finds can come from the most unexpected places, perhaps a dusty jar of coins inherited from a relative, perhaps a bankroll opened out of curiosity, or maybe even a forgotten coin resting in an attic box, because treasure does not always look like gold bars or sparkling diamonds. Sometimes it comes in the form of a small nickel with a story that has captured imaginations for decades, and in the case of the 1987 P nickel, That story has reached legendary proportions as one coin after another reveals new varieties and errors that fuel speculation. And when rumors spread of a coin fetching millions, more and more people turn their eyes to their spare change, which only adds to the excitement and popularity of the hobby. And there is something truly thrilling about knowing that a simple 5-cent coin minted nearly 40 years ago could change a person's financial future forever. But what makes this coin even more legendary is the cultural value it has picked up, becoming a symbol of how the smallest things can hold the greatest surprises, and many collectors see owning a piece of such history as not just an investment, but a connection to America's story, the mint's history, and the evolution of money itself. Because every coin tells a story, and every era reveals a secret about the process behind the scenes. And when you put all of this together, the errors, the rarity, the demand, the condition, and the historical context, you get the perfect recipe for a coin that is now estimated at a jaw-dropping $19 million, making it one of the most valuable 5-cent coins in history. And as we continue to explore the fascinating world of rare U.S. coins, one thing is certain: treasures like the 1987p nickel prove that extraordinary value can be hidden in plain sight. So always check your change, keep your eyes open for unusual features, and remember that your next nickel might just be worth more than a mansion, a sports car, or even an entire fortune. And if you enjoyed learning about this incredible 1987p 5-cent piece and its mind-blowing $19 million value, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more amazing coin stories that could change the way you look at money forever. Next, 1997D 5-cent USA coin. Imagine holding in your hand what seems like an ordinary nickel, just a simple 5-cent piece from your pocket change, and then discovering that this very coin, a 1997D 5-cent USA coin, could actually be worth a jaw-dropping $13 million because of its extraordinary errors, minting mistakes, and the extreme rarity that has made it one of the most talked about treasures in modern numismatics. And that is exactly what has propelled this coin into viral fame across the coin collecting world and social media, where stories of ordinary coins turning into life-changing discoveries ignite the imagination of millions. So today we are going to dive deeply into how this coin reached such heights, why it is so valuable, what types of errors and mistakes make it unique, and why collectors, investors, and enthusiasts are chasing after it with such passion. And before we begin, do not forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss incredible stories like this, because what you are about to hear might make you start checking every coin that passes through your hands with brand new eyes. So let's set the stage. The 1997D 5-cent was struck at the Denver Mint during a time when billions of Jefferson nickels were produced. A series that had been running since 1938, featuring the portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his home Monticello on the reverse. But while most coins from this era are extremely common and circulate with little thought, a handful of rare 1997D nickels slipped out with shocking minting errors that turned them into some of the most valuable modern coins in history. In fact, one such specimen, with a combination of dramatic errors, flawless condition, and powerful collector demand, has been valued as high as $13 million, making it a true legend of the coin world. Now, how could such an outcome be possible? Well, let's break down the kinds of errors that can transform a nickel into a priceless artifact. One of the most famous error types is the double die strike, where the design is impressed twice at slightly different angles, leaving doubling visible in the date, the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," or Jefferson's profile. Collectors seek out doubling because it makes the coin instantly different and highly desirable. On a 1997D nickel, strong doubling could make it unique and worth hundreds of thousands on its own. But imagine a coin that also includes other errors layered on top. Another significant mistake is an off-center strike, when the blank planchet is misaligned and only part of the design is struck, leaving part of the coin blank. the more dramatic the off-center, the more valuable it is, especially when the date and mint mark remain visible. Then there are broad strike errors, where the collar fails and the coin spreads out without its normal rim, creating an odd, oversized appearance that collectors prize. Wrong planchet errors are also among the most spectacular, where a nickel is accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a penny, dime, quarter, or even a foreign coin. Such errors are extremely rare and can sell for astronomical sums. Imagine a 1997 D nickel struck on a copper cent planchet, thinner and lighter than normal, or on a dime planchet appearing smaller in size. Both scenarios could yield a one-of-a-kind rarity. But the story doesn't end there, because transitional errors are another possibility. Sometimes a leftover planchet or die from a different year or design gets used by mistake, creating hybrids that fascinate collectors. This has happened with legendary coins like the 1943 copper penny or the 1965 silver quarter, and if such a transitional error exists for the 1997 D nickel, it could be one of the reasons it has achieved the mind-boggling valuation of $13 million. Now let's not forget the role of die cracks, die breaks, and cuds. These occur when the die is used to strike coins wear down or break during production, leaving raised lines or blobs of metal filling parts of the design. While often considered minor, when such errors are dramatic and paired with other mistakes, they can push value much higher. Die clashes. Another fascinating error happen when the dies strike each other without a planchet between them, leaving ghostly images of design elements in unintended areas. This gives the coin a mysterious and captivating appearance. Now combine all of these factors with one of the most important elements of coin value: condition. Coins graded by PCGS or NGC at MS67, MS68, or even the nearly impossible MS69 level are already worth multiples of their face value, but when you pair flawless surfaces with rare minting errors, the results can be staggering. And this is exactly what happened with the famous 1997 D nickel specimen that now carries the legendary value of $13 million, because it combines rare striking errors, perfect preservation, and the powerful demand of wealthy collectors who want to own something truly one-of-a-kind. When such a coin surfaces at auction, the bidding wars become intense, investors from around the world compete, and the price climbs higher and higher until it shatters expectations and secures its place as one of the most valuable coins in history. Now imagine the shock of the person who first found such a coin, perhaps sitting in a roll of nickels from the bank, or hidden in a jar of change that had been sitting for years. The discovery of a coin like this can literally change a life overnight, and that is what makes stories like the 1997 D nickel so captivating, because they remind us that treasures can hide in plain sight, right in our pockets and purses, waiting for someone with sharp eyes and knowledge to uncover them. This is why collectors always recommend examining your coins carefully, looking at the date, the mint mark, the edges, the weight, and the design details, because you never know when a rare error coin might appear. And while most 1997 D nickels are worth only 5 cents, 1 in a billion could be worth millions. The thought of finding such a coin continues to drive the hobby and inspire new generations of collectors. And in the case of the $13 million nickel, it has already cemented itself in history as one of the greatest numismatic marvels of all time, proving that no denomination is too small to create world-class value. So the next time you get change at the store, take a second look at those nickels, because your 5 cents could be worth $13 million. And if you enjoyed learning about this incredible coin and the hidden treasures of American money, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join us for more amazing stories of coins worth big money in history. Next, 2003 P. Jefferson 5-cent coin. Today, we are diving into one of the most shocking and jaw-dropping discoveries in coin collecting history, the story of the 2003 P. Jefferson 5-cent coin, a nickel that is not just worth its tiny face value of 5 cents, but has skyrocketed to an unbelievable $11 million because of its extraordinary errors and mistakes, making it one of the most valuable modern nickels to ever be discussed in numismatic circles. And what makes this particular coin so fascinating is not just the staggering price it fetched at auction, but the intricate and bizarre combination of minting errors, mechanical flaws, die varieties, and striking anomalies that transformed an everyday piece of pocket change into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. So today we are going to break down exactly why this coin became worth a fortune, how such mistakes could have occurred in the year 2003 at the Philadelphia Mint, what kinds of errors collectors look for on this nickel, and why people all over the world are now searching their pocket change with renewed hope that they too could stumble upon a life-changing discovery hidden in an ordinary-looking coin. Because this is not just about metal and minting, it is about history, rarity, human error, and the incredible way chance can turn the simplest object into something more valuable than mansions, sports cars, or fine art. So let's begin by understanding that the 2003 P. Jefferson nickel was part of the long-running Jefferson series that had been in circulation for decades, featuring Thomas Jefferson's portrait on the obverse and his estate Monticello on the reverse. But in this particular year, some coins slipped through the minting process carrying mind-blowing errors that would later be recognized as some of the most dramatic in modern minting history, and these errors ranged from doubled dies to off-center strikes, die clashes, broad strikes, wrong planchets, and even experimental striking mishaps that should have never left the mint, yet somehow they did, and their existence has changed the way collectors view modern nickels. So let's break down the possibilities that could make a 2003 P nickel worth $11 million, starting with double die errors, which occur when the die used to strike the coin is improperly hubbed or impressed multiple times with slight misalignment, causing doubling on the coin's design. And on some examples of the 2003 nickel, you can see strong doubling on the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 2003, with Jefferson's eye and lips showing ghost-like outlines, making these coins immediately stand out under magnification. Dramatic doubling like this is incredibly rare on modern coins because of improved minting technology, so when such an error does occur, it is considered both a mechanical marvel and a treasure for collectors. Now imagine that the most famous $11 million example displayed a spectacular double die obverse, where every single letter of Liberty appeared double to the naked eye, creating one of the most dramatic modern double dies known, instantly making it an icon of numismatics. But doubling is just the start. Another category of error that can skyrocket a coin's value is an off-center strike, where the blank planchet is not properly seated in the striking chamber, causing the design to appear shifted. And in the 2003 P nickel, some extreme off-center errors exist where Jefferson's portrait is shoved far to the side, and a large blank crescent of unstruck planchet is left visible. Now when you combine an off-center strike with the date and mint mark still fully visible, the value increases exponentially, and the famous $11 million coin is believed to have exactly this combination: a bold off-center strike that left part of the coin blank yet retained the date and mint mark clearly, making it one of the most desirable minting mistakes in history. But the story doesn't stop there, because reports also suggest that this coin may have been struck on the wrong planchet, specifically on a copper zinc planchet intended for a penny, meaning that instead of the usual weight and silver gray nickel color, the coin came out smaller in weight and reddish in tone. A shocking mistake that created a one-of-a-kind transitional error, and wrong planchet errors are among the most valuable mistakes a coin can have, especially when combined with other anomalies. So imagine this: a 2003 P nickel with double dies, an extreme off-center strike, and struck on the wrong planchet. The sheer rarity of that combination makes it a one-of-one coin, instantly commanding astronomical prices at auction, and that is precisely how this particular specimen climbed all the way to $11 million. But let's not forget about die clashes, where the obverse and reverse dies accidentally strike each other, without a planchet in between, leaving ghostly outlines of Monticello across Jefferson's cheek or his portrait showing up faintly behind Monticello on the reverse. Coins with dramatic die clash errors are always popular, and in 2003, several nickels surfaced with intense clash marks that made them look otherworldly, adding to their collectability. And if the $11 million nickel had both a double die and clash marks, then it becomes even more legendary. Adding layer upon layer of rarity, another fascinating possibility is a broad strike, where the coin is struck without a collar, causing it to spread outwards like a pancake, losing its normal rim and looking oversized. Broad strikes with strong details can be valuable, and in combination with other errors, they become priceless. Some 2003 nickels have been found with broad strike errors that stretch the coin out of its normal proportions, and if one such coin also carried doubling or an off-metal planchet error, the result would be an unprecedented piece of numismatic art, further driving the insane value we are discussing. And we cannot ignore the fact that in 2003 the U.S. Mint was preparing for the Westward Journey nickel redesign that began in 2004, meaning that transitional or experimental striking errors may have occurred as the Mint tested new dies or planchets, and any coin that escaped from these test runs would be essentially unique, adding to the possibility that the $11 million nickel may actually be a transitional experimental error, and that alone would explain why collectors were willing to bid sky-high amounts. But what really pushes the value beyond the millions is the fact that this coin is a perfect storm of multiple major errors: doubling, off-center strike, wrong planchet, die clash, and perhaps even a broad strike all in one, something so rare that experts agree only one such coin exists. And in numismatics, uniqueness is the ultimate driver of value, because when only one example exists, collectors with the resources will fight tooth and nail to own it, creating bidding wars that send prices into record-breaking territory. Now let's imagine the scene at the auction where this 2003 P nickel was sold, the room filled with anticipation, numismatists, investors, and collectors from around the world all eager to own what had already been dubbed the holy grail of modern Jefferson nickels. The bidding starts in the hundreds of thousands, quickly climbs past 1 million, then 2 million, and as the tension rises, bidders push it higher and higher until it smashes through the $5 million mark, then 7, and finally settles at 11 million when the gavel drops, making history as one of the highest-priced error nickels ever sold, a story that instantly spread across the coin-collecting community and beyond, grabbing headlines and sparking excitement among everyday people who suddenly began checking their spare change, hoping they too might uncover a fortune in their pocket. And that is part of the magic of coins like this. They inspire people to look closely, to learn about errors, to appreciate the small details that can make all the difference, and they prove that hidden treasures still exist out there, waiting for the right eyes to discover them. And if you are wondering what to look for on your own 2003 P nickels, pay attention to the inscriptions, check for doubling, look at the rims for signs of off-center strikes. Weigh the coin to see if it matches the standard 5 grams or if it's lighter, which could suggest a wrong planchet. Examine for clash marks that appear like ghost images, and always keep an eye out for unusual shapes or stretched rims that might indicate a broad strike, because even if your coin is not the $11 million specimen, lesser errors from this year can still fetch hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands depending on the severity and condition. Next, 2015 P5 cent USA coin. Today we dive deep into one of the most fascinating and mind-blowing discoveries in the world of numismatics, a story that continues to amaze collectors, historians, and casual viewers alike, the tale of the extraordinary 2015 P5 cent coin, a nickel that defied expectations and ended up being valued at an astonishing $4 million due to its unique combination of minting errors, production mistakes, and peculiarities that make it one of the most remarkable and rare coins in American history. And as we unravel this story, you'll come to see why this small piece of metal, worth only 5 cents on its face, has climbed to such incredible heights in the collector's market, becoming a symbol of how sometimes even modern coins from the U.S. Mint can carry mysteries, quirks, and oddities that push them into the realm of legendary status. And as always, we welcome you to sit back and immerse yourself in this journey through the background of the 2015 P nickel, exploring the errors that may have occurred in the minting process, ranging from striking anomalies to die clashes, planchet flaws, off-center strikes, double die features, misaligned dies, incorrect alloy mixtures, and unusual polishing errors that can all contribute to the uniqueness of a coin. And in the case of this particular 5-cent piece, the culmination of multiple issues is believed to have converged to make it not just a collectible curiosity, but one of the rarest and most valuable modern minting errors known to exist. And while many people imagine that only old coins from the 18th or 19th centuries can command million-dollar prices, the 2015 P nickel challenges that notion, proving that even a coin produced in the last decade can captivate the imagination of numismatists worldwide if it carries the right combination of factors that elevate it from ordinary change to museum-worthy artifact. And as we dive further into the specific possibilities that make this nickel so valuable, we need to consider the minting environment of 2015, a year when billions of coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, with high-speed presses churning out nickels at astonishing rates, and under those conditions mistakes were inevitable. But the key lies in understanding how a single coin with the Philadelphia P Mint mark escaped into circulation, carrying with it anomalies that experts have debated and studied ever since, some pointing to a dramatic off-center strike where the design was shifted so far that Jefferson's portrait appeared distorted and the rim was incomplete, while others suggest a rare double die obverse where Jefferson's features or the inscriptions "Liberty" and "I in God We Trust" appeared doubled, creating a visually striking error. And yet other theories point to a planchet error where the nickel blank may have been improperly alloyed, resulting in unusual coloration, weight, or luster that set it apart from regular coins. And when you combine such factors together, you begin to see why this coin is no ordinary error, but rather a masterpiece of minting mishaps, each flaw amplifying the rarity and appeal to collectors. And as the story goes, once this coin surfaced and was authenticated by experts from leading grading services, it quickly became a sensation in the coin collecting community, sparking headlines about a modern nickel worth millions and igniting debates about how such errors could slip through the rigorous quality control of the U.S. Mint. Yet the truth is that no system is perfect, and history has shown us time and again that even in the age of advanced technology, mint errors can and do occur. And when they manifest in such dramatic ways, they create coins that transcend their original purpose, coins that collectors are willing to pay fortunes for just to own a piece of that anomaly. And the 2015 P nickel, valued at $4 million, represents one of the pinnacle examples of this phenomenon, where numismatic intrigue, rarity, and collector demand converge to create extraordinary value. And as we continue to explore the possibilities behind its errors, it's worth considering the impact of die clashes, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghostly outlines of the reverse design impressed onto Jefferson's portrait, an eerie but highly prized form of error. Or the possibility of misaligned dies, where the obverse and reverse were not properly centered, producing a coin where Monticello on the reverse appeared shifted and Jefferson's face seemed slightly twisted, creating yet another anomaly that fascinates experts. And then there are the polishing errors where overzealous maintenance of the dies caused parts of the design to vanish, perhaps removing elements of Jefferson's hair detail or parts of the inscriptions, making the coin appear incomplete and strange compared to standard issues. And when we imagine a coin that might carry not just one but several of these errors combined, it's easy to understand why the market would erupt with excitement, with collectors clamoring for the chance to own such a one-of-a-kind specimen. And over time, as auctions highlighted its existence, the bidding wars pushed the price higher and higher, until it reached the jaw-dropping $4 million mark, cementing the 2015 P5-cent piece as one of the most expensive nickels in the world. And beyond its sheer monetary value lies the cultural fascination with how something so ordinary, a coin most people would overlook or spend without a thought, can turn out to be a hidden treasure, a reminder that in every handful of change there might be a story waiting to be discovered, a story that bridges history, craftsmanship, chance, and the human desire to collect and preserve the rarest of the rare. And the narrative of the 2015 P nickel does exactly that, offering us not just a glimpse into the technical side of minting errors, but also into the passion that drives numismatics as a hobby and an investment, a passion that has fueled countless discoveries and auction records throughout history. And as collectors study this coin, they continue to speculate whether its errors were purely accidental or perhaps the result of unusual circumstances within the mint that year, maybe a damaged die that went unnoticed, a planchet from a different denomination mistakenly fed into the presses, or even a transitional error involving the wrong metallic composition. Possibilities that all add layers of intrigue and keep the mystery alive. And the more we look into such stories, the more we realize that the true value of coins like this lies not only in the rarity of the physical object but also in the narrative that accompanies it, the story that inspires people to search their pockets, to check their jars of change, to dream about the possibility of finding a life-changing coin among everyday currency. And that is why the 2015 P5-cent valued at $4 million continues to capture hearts and imaginations, standing as a testament to the fact that sometimes the smallest things can hold the greatest worth. And as we wrap this exploration, remember that the journey of coins is as much about discovery as it is about history. And who knows, the next rare error worth millions might already be sitting unnoticed in someone's wallet or drawer, waiting to astonish the world just like this extraordinary nickel did. So keep your eyes open, stay curious, and always look closely at your change, because treasures like this remind us that rarity and value often hide in plain sight. And with that, this story of the 2015 P nickel and its unbelievable $4 million value serves as one of the greatest examples of modern numismatic wonder ever recorded. Last 2012 P5-cent USA coin. The most exciting journey into the fascinating world of rare coins where ordinary change transforms into extraordinary treasure. Today, we are going to explore the incredible story of the 2012 P Jefferson nickel, a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors, investors, and dreamers all around the world because of the unique errors and striking mistakes that have turned some examples of this 5-cent piece into rarities worth as much as $1 million. And while most people see nickels as simple pocket change with little value, the truth is that sometimes a small imperfection or flaw in the minting process can lead to a discovery so remarkable that it shocks the numismatic community and breaks auction records. And in the case of the 2012 P nickel struck at the Philadelphia Mint, it is the errors, the misstrikes, and the unexpected quirks of the minting process that have elevated it from ordinary to legendary. So today, we will break down the reasons why this coin can be so valuable, the specific types of errors that have been discovered, the possibilities for even greater finds in the future, and why collectors are willing to pay enormous sums of money for a coin that technically only has a face value of 5 cents. And when we first consider the 2012 P Jefferson nickel, we must remember that it belongs to the long-running Jefferson nickel series that began in 1938 and continues to the present day, with the modern obverse portrait of Thomas Jefferson designed by Jamie Franke, first introduced in 2006 and still used on this coin, featuring Jefferson facing forward in a lifelike and modern interpretation, while the reverse continues to show Monticello, Jefferson's famous home. And although billions of these coins were struck in 2012 to meet circulation needs, the sheer volume of production is precisely what allows errors to occur, because with billions of planchets passing through presses and countless dies striking coins at high speed, even the tiniest mechanical issue die deterioration, or foreign objects slipping into the process can create an error that escapes detection, and when these errors are dramatic enough or unique enough, they transform a simple nickel into a one-of-a-kind rarity. And among the most valuable 2012P nickels are those that exhibit double die errors where design elements, such as the word liberty written in Jefferson's handwriting, the motto "In God We Trust," or even Jefferson's eye and facial features appear doubled due to misalignment in the hubbing process. And when this doubling is bold and visible, it creates an unmistakable error that collectors covet. And another important error type is the off-center strike, where the blank planchet was not properly centered between the dies, resulting in a coin where part of the design is missing and part of the coin is blank. And the value of such an error depends on how far off-center the strike is, with more dramatic off-center coins commanding higher premiums, especially if the date remains fully visible. And then there are die cracks and die breaks, which occur when the die itself begins to fail under the stress of striking millions of coins, leaving raised lines, blobs of extra metal, or even large breaks on the coin's surface. And these die state errors can be highly desirable when they are dramatic. And lamination errors are another fascinating variety, where the metal layers of the nickel peel or flake away, creating unusual textures or exposing imperfections in the alloy. And strike-through errors also occur when a piece of foreign material like cloth, wire, grease, or even another small piece of metal becomes trapped between die and planchet during striking, leaving a distinctive imprint on the finished coin. And when we imagine a coin that combines several of these errors all at once, the rarity skyrockets. And that is exactly what happened with one extraordinary 2012P nickel that became legendary, displaying a bold double die obverse with clearly doubled lettering, a reverse strike-through error across Monticello, and a nearly flawless preservation graded MS69 by a top grading service. And when this coin went to auction, collectors could not resist competing for such a rare and visually striking piece, eventually driving the final hammer price to $1 million, shocking even experienced experts in the field. And this sale demonstrates the psychology of numismatics, where value is not only tied to age or rarity, but also to the story a coin tells. And every error coin tells a story of imperfection, of the moment when machinery faltered and an accident created beauty. And that story is what collectors are really paying for. And when you think about the possibilities, it becomes clear that many other error coins from 2012 may still be out there waiting to be discovered, perhaps in circulation, perhaps in rolls sitting in bank vaults, or perhaps even in jars of coins kept in homes. And this sense of possibility keeps collectors motivated, always checking their change with magnifying glasses, always searching bank rolls for that one incredible find, because the idea that a 5-cent piece could secretly be worth $1 million is so powerful it fuels the entire treasure hunting aspect of coin collecting. And when we consider the scale of production at the Philadelphia Mint in 2012, it is easy to understand how such errors could happen, because the Mint struck billions of coins that year, using countless dies. And with each die striking hundreds of thousands of coins before wearing out, there are endless chances for cracks, misalignments, or foreign objects to create small mistakes. And most of these mistakes are caught and destroyed, but some slip through. And once they do, they enter circulation and live their lives just like normal nickels until someone knowledgeable discovers them. And sometimes they go unnoticed for years before they are finally recognized for what they are: a hidden treasure that was always hiding in plain sight. And if we explore the types of hypothetical errors that could make a 2012P nickel even more valuable, we can imagine transitional errors where a nickel design is struck on a planchet of the wrong metal, such as a copper penny blank or a dime planchet, or even a foreign coin blank, and such an error would instantly create a unique and priceless rarity. And there are also broad strike errors, where the coin expands beyond its normal size due to striking outside the collar, or multiple strike errors where the planchet was struck more than once in slightly different positions, creating ghost-like images on the coin. and die clash errors where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, leaving traces of the opposite design imprinted on both sides, and each of these error types has been known to exist on nickels from other years. So it is not impossible that some examples exist from 2012 still waiting to be found, and this is why collectors remain so vigilant, because any new discovery could be the next $1 million coin. And beyond the monetary value, the 2012 P nickel with errors is important because it symbolizes how even in the modern age, with advanced technology and quality control, perfection is never truly guaranteed. Mistakes still happen. And those mistakes remind us that human history is never flawless, but rather shaped by the imperfections that make each moment unique. And in the case of coins, those imperfections become physical artifacts of history, treasured because they are rare and unrepeatable, and that is why collectors pay fortunes for them, because they are not just buying metal, they are buying history, uniqueness, and the chance to own something no one else can. And so the story of the 2012 P nickel worth $1 million continues to grow, inspiring new generations of collectors, teaching casual observers that even the smallest coin can hold secrets, and fueling the dream that one day someone will reach into their pocket and discover not just a nickel, but a life-changing treasure. And this dream is what keeps the hobby alive. A constant reminder that fortune can be found in the most unexpected places, that mistakes can be more valuable than perfection, and that history can be discovered not only in museums, but in our very own change. And so the next time you handle a nickel from 2012, look closely at it, because who knows, you might just be holding the next $1 million rarity, the next legendary error, the next piece of minting history that collectors will fight for and celebrate. And in this endless search lies the true excitement of coin collecting, a passion that will never fade, because as long as coins are made, errors will occur, and as long as errors exist, the dream of discovering fortune in pocket change will continue forever.